Hey y'all, welcome to Saturday's Strolling with the Orchid. I thought I'd do it a little bit different, so I'm actually filming this on Friday night. So I'm cheating just a wee bit, but I was watering this Vanda here. So with this one, about once a week, I just run water through it real quick, but at least 3 to 4 times a month, I will sanitize the sink really well. Then I've put the Vanda in, and then I will soak her for about an hour to 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. Might forget about her. Let her get a really good soak so that all the bark and media, roots, everything are really absorbent. The leaves sometimes will sit in that water as well. Right now she's draining. Didn't think to record it while she was sitting in there, but she's been in there for about an hour and a half, and I don't want to set her back in and then drain her again. But I thought we could look at the ladies behind us in the grow lights instead of with the grow lights and then all of the sun and the glare and all that stuff coming through. So let me get you turned around and let's go check them out. Let's just start with some pretty blooms. Again, this is Harlequin here. Now I do have my ring light, one of those recording ring lights behind me, because this area is a little bit darker once the lights are off. So I do have that ring light on to kind of lighten these up a little bit. I'm gonna turn it off to show you kind of the difference, and then turn it back on, and it a little bit brighter. But this is Miss Harlequin, still lusciously in bloom there. And then I did move this pink one. This is the October of 22, I believe. So yeah, well, September, October of 22 rescue that is working on a new leaf here. And then of course, Chia E. Yinlin. Look at that. I love that display, guys. It is 2 spikes, but I just love this display. This has got to be one of my favorite orchids, and I just love the shape. I love the star shape of it. See that star shaped with the perfect lacing all the way around, as opposed to kind of the more rounded, what we're used to seeing on the phals. Ooh, let me zoom back out. And then of course, this one here, she's just, I don't know, she's just so pretty. I like the lip on this one. It's very interesting. It's more of a pale yellow instead of that light yellow. Just real pretty. And then of course, this one here, which I'm gonna assume is similar to the soft clouds pink, or baby pink soft clouds, I think is what I called it. And then I love how big these flowers are compared to the lady sitting in the pot. Now these are both keikis, and I believe I believe it was spider mites, that it has lessened, because I still wipe it down once a week with rubbing alcohol, but the pitting has now stopped. So I may have gotten it in control, and I do believe I want to wait at least 1 more year, but let me see if I can get her out of this pot, this decorative pot, and show you guys this here real quick. Look at this. Like, she is eating this pot. I don't think that these 2 keikis are going to be able to sustain for another growing season, or I probably can't sustain their watering needs for another growing season, because with them being so packed, it is going to be difficult to keep up with the watering. So I'm probably going to have to repot her. Let me turn the camera off real quick so I can go wash my hands, since I just touched all over her, because I don't want to spread it on any of the others. Before I do that, take a quick look at black dot here. Again, just looks like somebody took and just threw paint on a yellow background. And then the little accents of white there. And then of course this one here, which is the Shia Fang Savory Orange, I believe. Yeah, she is starting to bud out. So we will get to see those beautiful orangey blooms again. All right, be right back. Let me go wash my hands. I want to start with my Wilhelmina Pinot Princess Scary. So this is one of my original Brookside orchid plants that I bought back in February of 2021. She came in bloom. She's done several growths. But as you can see, maybe you can't see, but there we go. As you can see, those bulbs are getting absorbed. I know they look brown, they look nasty, but that's just how she absorbs the bulbs. They're not squishy, they're still firm. That's just what she does. She does have some new root growth coming, as you can see the cute little root tip right there. So I'm probably going to take her out of the pot and cut off those 3 yucky looking bulbs, and then put her in a smaller pot and see if maybe we don't get a better growth out of her. I think this pot is now too big for her simply because those other 2 or 3 bulbs rather, they're not doing anything. I'm pretty sure that the roots that are attached to those are dead. Just give her a nice little cleanup, put her in a maybe half the size it's in now, and see if maybe this growing season we don't get a better growth. I mean, this one's not too bad, but I know she can do better because look at that one right there. All right, let me put her back real quick. And the Phalaenopsis back there where I broke the spike, I was looking at it earlier today, and I think that spike might be trying to branch, but there's also a root right on top of it, so it may or may not make it. Paphiopedilum over here is still doing fine, and I definitely need to increase the watering on my Miltonia spectabilis because, as we can see, we have some constantining, which means she is not getting enough water to support all of this beautiful growth she's got going on. So that will get increased because of that. I know I literally was looking at her earlier today, and you can see there's another leaf in there that's just not going to come out. Hopefully it straightens itself out. But it did have to move the infolium, the cymbidium back a little bit because this is where I have my new Cattleyas sitting. East-facing window right there during the day, and then there's a grow light right above us for them to kind of get a little additional lighting. And I did top them all off with some small orchiata bark. Not a lot, just kind of covered the top so that all of these new growths that each one of them have, as the roots start growing, they can grab onto the media and go down instead of, I don't want a lot of aerial roots yet. I want the roots to go down into a pot. Paphiopedilum spicerianum back here. I'm thinking I might put her into leca and self-watering. Have not made it 100%, but I am going to put her in something, whether it's the leca and self-watering or a fresh bark and moss mixture. I'm just going to freshen her up. My 2 growths on my Marasaki back there. Let me see if I can get in there. There we go. That one's coming nicely, as is that one. And I did turn it around so that the growth would go towards the window, kind of fill in this empty spot of her right here. And while we're speaking of the Marasaki, let's just enjoy these blooms that smell fantabulous during the day. And I hate that the camera lightens the purple because it is kind of a darker, I don't know, it's like a royal purple, but a pastel version of it. Here it kind of has more of a pink purple. This is not the true color. I'll post a picture of what the true color looks like because the camera makes it kind of lilac-y. Not much going on over here. And then, of course, my original Schilleriana. Look at how much this leaf has grown, and notice today, bum, 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 we have a root growth. So I'm going on the assumption that there are roots out here, which that more than likely is going to end up being an aerial root. There's some more stuff going on down here. And then this one here is the one I got from Norman's Orchids back in May of 2023. So I was looking, again, you can see that little root going through there. Oops, sorry about that. And I did cover it up because I do want it to go down, so it is going down. But I was looking today, and we have something trying to emerge there. I have yet to determine if that's a spike or if that is a root. Let me see if I can get out of the light enough so we can kind of look and see. May have to just pick it up and look at it. That's probably the better idea. So I'm going with a root. Yeah, that looks like a root. It's a little too fat, I think, to be a spike. But again, I've never seen a Schillery on a spike. If it's a root, yeah, okay, she needs roots. But I'd like to see the spike. I know she's blooming size because they had cut a spike off of her when I got her. I don't think that the Fred Clark After Dark is going to bloom this year. I think it tried it and it's just decided not to. Totally cool with that because, as I said before, I'm loving this growth that I got this year. I'm going to shoot for the same size growth, if not bigger, for next year. And once all the leaves and everything drop and it goes dormant, I am going to take her out of this pot and just move her into the center. And I might even take off some of the smaller back bulb, or the smaller back bulb. More than likely, though, I'll end up leaving it on there. It just makes sense. Got my Nobly down there. And then look. My No ID Vanda, that root, coming right on along. And that's the one that was kind of aerial when I put her in there, so it's just continuing on that path. But look at the pulchra. Look at all the root growth on it. We've got a big juicy one there. We've got reactivation there, reactivation. And then if we come over here on this side, got a nice root down there as well. Loving that. And then, leaving it zoomed in, Pearl Cooper, look what, in a week, how much that the keikis root has grown. I'm just enjoying that. And then there is a root pushing through right there, tearing up that leaf, but that's all right. I'm so proud of the keiki. She's finally going to go out and get a job and start supporting Mama in that pot. Our little, I don't know if you want to call it a keiki, but I don't know if this is, see if I can get in there. It is growing, so it is doing something, and the roots have kind of attached themselves to this moss, so I'm still just leaving it sitting on here just to see what happens. I'm going to take the Sonochi's Wine Delight piece out of there. It is obviously a no-go. My Ring of Fire, and this is why it's called the Ring of Fire, because when it first comes out, do you see how it kind of has that orangey red? That's actually on the whole leaf. Let's see. There's a leaf coming out right there, if I can catch it next time. Oh my goodness, I forgot what the name of this one was. Berrylicious. Berrylicious is going right on along, as is the Tolumnia. Bulbophyllum, just hanging out, doing its thing. Still got our little blooms on the Dendrobium. I know I said I was going to cut them, but I'm just going to let them naturally fall off. I'm not going to force Mother Nature to do what she doesn't want to do. And then, of course, we've got the Laduria over there, Sweet Memory. Still don't see any new roots on my Purpurata variation Carina, but they should start popping out soon. And I'm thinking I'm going to not repot her. Technically, it's not going to be a repot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take her out of this pot. I'm going to take this small back bulb off, and then I'm just going to place her a little closer to the back to give her more room to grow, because she has a definite direction of growth now. When I initially got her, I kind of placed her in the center because I wasn't sure how she was going to grow, but she's got a definite direction of growth. And with me taking this off, it might activate the back section, so I'll still kind of put her centered in the pot. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that or wait for the next growth. Still got our lovely, beautiful No ID pink blooms here. And then, of course, my pink lip down here is still looking fantabulous. And then down here, Hibiki is doing fine. Do need to go ahead and cut this spike. These flowers are, they're not all going over, but you know, they look a little pitiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the spike, or because she is working on a new growth, I may leave and let the flowers kind of fall off on their own and let her absorb the spike. I don't know yet. Nodosa is still doing well. And then the larger Twinkle back here is starting to really fill out her blooms. And then the smaller Twinkle, and the reason I say smaller, it's got less growths on it, is still in bloom. And I don't see any, you know, upcoming bloom. Oh my goodness, look what I just found. I literally, guys, just noticed this when I said I don't see any upcoming spikes. And look at these mini snowflakes, making a liar. There it is. Well, maybe. There it is. If I can get the camera in the right spot. There's one. There's going to be another little show right there. Do we have anything in this one? I mean, if we're up, and there we do. And I think I just saw another one. Hold on. Let's see. Is there going to be one back here too? I think so. Let's see. Well, I can't get back there without messing things up, but I think I saw another little spike coming up. So that, all right, well, we're going to have some little white Latoria type Dendrobium blooms. Let's see if we can find anything over here on Royal Chip, because that's the one I really want to see. But I don't see any spikes coming through. I do see some buds. I see lots and lots of little buds, just no spikes yet. So that one will be exploding soon. And what else? Let's see. Not much going on with these guys, still the same. That spike that I was kind of concerned about over here with this No ID Oncidium, still coming right on along. I am keeping up with that watering on that one. And then up here, hopefully by next Saturday, we will see us a Bellina bloom on here. So we are on bloom watch now, because it is swelling up pretty good. If not by next Saturday, definitely the following Saturday. Definitely the following Saturday. So I'm excited to see that. Now, this one will probably not still be in bloom when this one over here blooms, because that spike it's coming, but you know, it's not anywhere near where the other one is. So I'll have to be sure and get really good pictures of that one. So when this one blooms, we can compare and see if that is in fact a Bellina or a Bellina cress. I also, earlier today, was looking, and the Phalaenopsis is starting to bud and swell. So if somebody doesn't break the bud again, we should be good. And then the wild type looks like she is swelling out a bud as well. So I think she and the regular Bellina might be in bloom together. The Carula, Bellina Carula, is finally coming into her own. And excitingly enough, hold on, move my stool over, I want to show you guys. So last week, we put this one in this leca bucket, and that new little leaf, look how much has grown. I know, in orchid time, that is quick. In normal plant time, that's really slow, but that's not bad for a week. That leaf finally came out. And then, of course, the Yapon evergreen is swelling up. We'll see some pretty yellow flowers. And then there is my summer rose, Blue Star, just loving her life. And all of these ladies are just exploding with growth. Again, we should see the Greek wax silk ball blooms, probably not next Saturday, but the following, if I remember from when she did. And you know, I thought it had been like 6-7 months since the last time she bloomed off of this growth here. And I realized I was looking through my pictures, it was like 2.5 months ago, let's say 3. And she's already finished this growth and developed and bloomed. So she is definitely coming into her own. Still don't see anything in here in this sheath. It is still filling with air, so something's going to happen in there, fingers crossed. And of course, the Cattleya zip, formerly known as Alelia zip, is really coming up with that growth. This one I finally took the Velcro strap off of, but it does sit on that little butterfly to keep it from fully coming over, because if you look at her, let's look at her from the side here, you can see how it's trying to curve. And that's just her natural growth. So I'll let her curve slightly. I just don't want her hanging like these guys over here and just getting all out of control. She is in all charcoal and lava rock. And got that new growth down here on the Bractonia coming right. You see it right there? Yep, it is coming up nicely. And then since I've been adding the CalMag and cutting back on the fertilizer, so far all of these new growths have not come up with the brown tips, but time will tell. Time will tell. I'm hoping that was the fix. And then of course those roots are getting a little bit longer. And down here we have, so the Schilleriana, let me move this out of the way. The Schilleriana, the Cattleya Schilleriana cross back to self. So I did show you guys those two new growths, and look how much that growth has come since last week. It was kind of right here, and then this growth is even more visible. And I don't know if I showed you guys this because I don't remember, but we have a third direction of growth right here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 new growths coming on this Schilleriana Cattleya, or Cattleya Schilleriana. Now, from what I have read during their growing season, they like to stay fairly damp and very bright light, almost to the point of kind of where she is now, where she's got kind of that purple anthocyanin look to her. If anyone else grows that, let me know if I'm doing that correctly. And then Candy Sparks here is working on her 3 new growths, doing a lovely. And let's see if we see any roots on the outside here. I do see roots going in the pot. I just don't see any that have extended where it's going to go crazy with the root growth. But it's doing really well. That's one of my Denver Orchid Show orchids. My Psychopsis, I still don't see a new growth. Like I said, I know I broke off a piece, so I should be having a new growth come soon, but maybe she's just not going to kick out a growth from there. And then this bud right here is coming right along, and because this is my first time growing her, it looks like there's going to be 2 actually. Look at that. It looks like it's going to have 2 in there. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get a closer look. Let's go in for a closer look. Let's see. Is that 2? That could be 2. It looks like 2 of them side by side there. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. And she is getting plenty of light because that anthocyanin is really showing on those leaves right there. Might be getting too much light. I may have to pull her back and put her back there. We'll have to wait and see. If it gets to be too bad, I'll just move her back over there. My grey gum, well, it's just working on that leaf. Still looks like it's not getting something, and I'm not sure. I've been giving it CalMag. Maybe I just need to give it a plain Epsom salt bath and put some more not calcium, but magnesium in there. Not 100% sure. If you have an idea, let me know. I will be redoing my little terrarium down there, or terrarium. Anyway, I'm going to kind of mix it up with leafy plants and probably some orchids. I haven't 100% decided if I'm going to leave the orchids in there or not. I know I'm going to leave the Macotes that I have in there because they're doing really, really, really well. And then Japonica over here. I don't think it's going to bloom for me this year, which is good, I guess, because it is putting out all of this beautiful new root growth. So, and of course we see a beautiful new leaf. I was just double checking. I was hoping for a spike this year. I've had this one since July of 21, and you know, it's been 2.5 years. Give a girl a bloom. Let's see, anything down here? And this one here is just extending her spike. This is the soft clouds. Again, I might just cut that one. And then look at the Glad Kid Blue. Look at that. So that was its first growth with me, and that's the second one. And now we've got a new leaf coming there with lots of root growth, and she's just in moss. That's all she's in. And then, of course, my Gigantea back there working on her leaf. I definitely need to go ahead and do whatever setup I'm going to do now that we're going into the growing season. And she's got some new roots coming along there. And then my 2 mottled ones back here. Which one is that? The Dusty Bell and the Centeon. I need to I don't know. I need to move them out from under there so I can enjoy them because those leaves are so gorgeous and I don't really get to see them that much down there. And then just real quick, let's look over here, down here, the Oncidium, and then of course my Phalaenopsis inscriptiosus, the one that's, well, she's on her last leg. So what's on top there is just some ceramis and some small lava rock to kind of help with keeping it a little more damp at the top there to encourage some roots. And then I'm not sure, but I have only been watering this about every 10 days because, again, this is what they call the snake plant. Our snake orchid, I have red. They like a little drier in the winter time. So I've been kind of mimicking that. And then the equestrus here, the tetraspis. I always call this an equestrus. She is still budding, working on some buds. Not quite there yet, but hopefully soon. And then this here, that sheath has not really gone anywhere, so I don't think she's going to bloom, which is perfectly fine. Still waiting on some new root growth. And then up here, new leaf is growing, new leaf is growing. And that is pretty much it on that shelf. And I don't think there's anything else that we can be looking at today, so we will see you on the next one.